And welcome to another exciting episode of the Super Fantastic Exchange. Guys, I can't tell you how excited I am to bring to you what I feel like is a celebrity in the multifamily industry. This guy is like, he's out there, he's amazing. He brings so much content and knowledge and has amazing stuff out there. And guys, let's give it up for none other than Matt Easton.
Oh, it was me with that intro. With that intro, I thought you were introducing The Rock, right?
No, you're the Rock of multifamily.
If you smell what Matt Easton is leasing. I love it. Yes. I'm gonna send you over the paperwork. We're gonna trademark that, and I'll have your check over to you.
That's right. I love it. Hey, Matt, thank you again so much for joining me today on the Super Fantastic Exchange. Hey, I want to give you a chance to introduce yourself a little bit more and about who you are and what you do.
My name is Matt Easton. I'm the founder of Leasing University. If you don't know me, you may still know me if you've been on Instagram, YouTube. Search Google for anything, how to lease apartments, leasing agent training. Unfortunately, you're going to see my ugly face pretty much all over Google. So what I do is I help the folks out there, the same type of people that are watching this podcast. I help them make sure that their assets are top line revenue flowing, cash flowing, occupied. But I do this in a new way that matches where the world is. Things have changed. And unfortunately, property management, the way we lease apartments, unless I've gotten to you already, has not. So there's a big disconnect there.
Yes.
I fixed that.
You're the fixer. I like that. You're the fixer. That's great. So Matt, I reached out to you earlier and asked you a couple of questions because you inspire so many people, directly, indirectly. And I've seen that and I've watched you. I probably have been a fan of yours for several years. And I've seen you inspire people through the things you do. So I always like to find out what inspires that person that inspires so many others. So I asked you a few questions.
Yeah.
What inspires you? And the first thing you shared with me was property management. The old way that we leased apartments doesn't work today. So tell me how that inspires you.
Yeah. And I'm not even sure it ever really did work, Gary, but it's just kind of how it inspires me is there was a period in my life. I've got a great mom, great dad, but my dad was not always my dad. Technically, legally, he's my stepdad. There was a number of years where my mom was a single mom making the most she ever made was $6,000 a year, trying to raise two boys. So I know what it's like to experience the other side of the coin. And I'm not just talking Section 8 or affordable. It's no different on the luxury side. What inspires me is helping give leasing consultants some simple tools that are going to help make the world brighter for that renter. You know, they've got to go to bed there every night. They got to wake up there every morning. They're building a life at that community. And I think we owe it to them. Right? Not just the single moms with two kids struggling out there, but also the new executive that just got a promotion and is ready to move it on up. We owe it to these people to give them an experience that's just as awesome as our community.
Yeah. And I love how you brought up the word experience. I believe that's such a valuable tool because, a lot of times the old way was just selling the product, selling the features, but you're talking about experience. That's something totally new. That's kind of a new kind of a thought process.
Yeah. Well, and there never needed to be an experience before. Here, let me just zip you through the old way. All right. Because I'm a dinosaur. Okay. I remember the four rent guides. You're way too young, Gary, to remember that, but maybe not. You go you look for an apartment, you go find that there was a thing, kids, and I say kids, anybody, 30 or under, there was a thing that looked like a newspaper stand. A lot of them are like, what's that? Right? They were these boxes and they're by the grocery store. You go there and you get this for rent guide. Okay. And there's about 3 choices in them. All right. And then you would call hoping, right? And they'd answer the phone. Thank you for calling Somerville. My name's Patty. What do you want? You're like, perhaps I'd like a 2-bedroom apartment. And Patty would be like, something on Wednesday, sugar. You want to come down, right? There was no experience. But here's why we were successful with that, Gary, is up until, call it 4 years ago, right? Renters had very little access to information.
Right.
And they had even fewer choices. Okay. Go look in any city. I was just in outside of Nashville yesterday. Every single crane was either mixed use or multifamily, right? We're building more product than ever before. But what's really changed is these things, right? I'm 2-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom apartment. What do you think my Instagram feed's going to be for ads tonight? 2-bedroom apartments. So our renters have access to way more information than ever before, and they've got more choices than ever before. So the old way of Patty smoking her cigarettes, right? And just clicking through her inventory.
Yeah.
We don't need that anymore. We don't need, our renters already, just go to apartments.com, right? Shameless plug, but it's a sea of green triangles. What we need is we need our leasing consultants to be more like a therapist and understand, okay, what's going on in Gary's life? Here's a great one. If I could only ask you one question, I could out-lease 99% of leasing consultants. Hey, Gary, what's your biggest reason for moving? Yet nobody asks that, right? My job as a leasing consultant or as a leasing agent, as a property manager, is to have Gary call. I'm going to greet Gary with dignity and respect, right? And I'm going to spend all of my time determining what's going on in Gary's life. What is Gary's current situation? What's Gary's ideal scene? And by the way, this is something I talk with my students in our live training events all the time. There is no ideal apartment. There is no perfect apartment. They got to get that out of their head, right? What's Gary's ideal? And then how do I get as close to ideal as possible for Gary? And how do I explain that to Gary in a way that makes sense to you, right? Not the, and this drives me nuts. You'll call a $100 million apartment community, right? And they'll use a couple catchphrases, and then they'll start going into a long laundry list of features, benefits, and amenities that the marketing department told them about. That's marketing's job. Marketing and sales are two different things, right? Marketing's job is to present the community in its entirety. Your job as a leasing consultant is to figure out what exactly is important to that particular renter and present that. And ideally present in a way and say, hey, Gary, because of the fact that you told me you wanted to be on a higher floor, the reason why you wanted to be on a higher floor is you work from home a lot and you want it to be a nice, quiet environment. Because of the fact that you said that, I'd like to show you this particular unit. You know, not just going through a whole list of features and benefits. So
I agree. And Matt, I have to tell you, I probably leased my first apartment from Patty years ago. So I totally get it.
I wonder if she's still alive.
She's probably out there somewhere.
Boy, she was vicious when we were late with our rent, wasn't she?
She was rough. She was rough.
Patty was the worst.
Man,
love you, Patty.
Well, hey, Matt, and I love how you're putting that together where you're getting to know the applicant, the guest first before you start finding that apartment for them. And I think that's...
And here's something that's really though important, G, is I don't want to know them. I mean, I do, but I don't. I'm not in. There's a lot of trainers out there that it's kind of garbage. There's all this small talk, mirror their body posture and, ask them about, I don't want to talk about the weather. I don't want to talk about the sports team. I want to talk about you and your biggest reason for moving. Right. Because if you were a cardiologist, right, and the doctor was just really nice to you and talked about the hike that you went on last week, that doesn't help the fact that I've got a heart murmur, right? We need to be more of a doctor and more of a therapist and diagnose so that we can say, hey, let me give you a quick example of misdiagnosis. As soon as somebody, first of all, nobody's ever asking this. This is something I always train to ask. Hey, Gary, what do you want to see first when you get here? Boy, that's a great question to ask, because all the time I get feedback. Oh man, everybody's beating us up on our price, right? We could go in for hours. I could show you how to fix that, but check this out. If I say, got it. Hey, what do you want to see first when you get here? Nobody says the price. That's how you figure out what's really important to them. But let me give you just a kind of a Leasing University black belt example of where my black belts are at, as opposed to my white belts and blue belts is a white belt. If somebody, what do you want to see first? Dog park. A white belt or a rookie leasing consultant or somebody that's not been trained by me is going to go, oh, how many fur babies do you have? Right? Let me give you a real world example. This was in Orlando 2 weeks ago. We were live. Hey, what do you want to see first? Dog park, right? I just said this, just out of curiosity. Why do you want to see the dog park first? I have a pretty severe dog allergy and actually embarrassed to say I have a phobia of dogs, and where I'm living at right now, I'm right next to, and this was literally the tonality of this person's voice.
Wow.
Right? I'm right next to the dog park, and I just have tremendous, especially over lockdowns and everything. It was just, I use the term dog park loosely. Like at one point, somebody's dog came into my place, and I feel like an idiot because I shouldn't be scared of a golden retriever. But that's a perfect example of how obtuse we get in property management.
Wow.
We literally start asking people questions reflexively without thought.
Yeah.
We lose all curiosity, right? Because I've been doing this for 20 years. I know as soon as I hear dogs, I use the word fur babies, right? As soon as I hear, what date do you need to move in? May 4th. And I start clicking away at my keyboard, right? How about doing this instead? What date do you need to move in? May 4th. Got it. Just out of curiosity, Gary, what makes that date important, right? Notice the difference there. I'm a big Star Wars fan. May the 4th be with you, right? I'm in my parents' basement. I'm totally flexible versus my boss is going to be in town on May 4th and wants to see my new home office. Oh, this is being a doctor. Oh, well, wait a minute. Just out of curiosity, you said, unpack that for me. Your boss is actually going to be here May 4th? Yes. Okay, so we need to get you in like now. Right? Like we need a few. That's the difference between just being somebody that is essentially a responsive piece of the website and being an actual person, a human being that is genuinely interested in your prospect. And here's the really cool thing, not to preach, but I nerd out on this stuff. G, I'm calling you G now. G, it is actually less work to be that damn good. Wow. And I'm going to repeat that because this is important for whether you train with us at Leasing University or go figure this out on your own. It is actually less work to be a super ninja black belt, awesome trophy winning leasing consultant than it is to be a stinky one. Because the stinky ones are doing 80 to 95% of the talking. The people that I train, they're letting their prospect talk.
Nice.
Tell me about that. Unpack that for me. Help me understand that.
Yeah.
Right? Just out of curiosity, my budget's the most important thing to me. I've got to be below $1,800. Got it. 1,800. I've written it down, right? You always want to be writing things down. Hey, just out of curiosity, Gary, when you say 1,800, compared to what? Where you're living at right now, other places that you're looking at, or what you had expected to pay, right? That's a black belt in leasing right there. Because guess what? It has to fall into one of those three buckets, right? Where they're living at right now. Welcome to the world of being a therapist. This is what human beings make this mistake. I had a friend, we'll just call her Teresa, all right?
Okay.
She's constantly dating. She's like, I hate my boyfriend. I'm breaking up with him. He's terrible. He drinks too much. He's loud. He's obnoxious. I wish I never met him at that lumberjack bar. I'm going back to the lumberjack bar tonight to meet a new guy, right? This is what human beings do. We make the same mistake over and over again. And so somebody will call you and say, my budget's 1,800. Okay, just out of curiosity, compared to what? Where you're living at right now?
Yeah.
Other places that you're looking at, or what you'd expected to pay? Oh, that's what I'm paying right now. What's your biggest reason for moving? I hate where I'm at right now. It's too small. It's dark, right?
Yeah.
Got it. Wrote down 1,800. If we could do that, let's hold that off to the side. I'll try and get as close to as possible as I can. But Gary, if I'm not able to give you a better life, then it seems like the total disaster where you're at right now. Isn't that the most important thing? Well, yeah. What would you change about where you're at right now? What would I not change? Now you're off on a great thing. Those other two reasons, right? Other places that I'm looking at. I'm on. Should I say their name? I'll just say schmartments.com. Yeah, I don't know if I can say their name. They're great. I don't want CoStar coming after me. I want Tesla at NAA. But other places that I'm looking at, this is again where you need to be more skillful. Got it, Gary. I realize there's hundreds of choices in the area. If we could hold that 1,800 off to the side, I could learn a little bit about you, what's most important to you. I'll present. We'll get you as close to that ideal as possible, and I'll stay as close to that 1,800. If for some reason I'm not able to get you there, I have some sister communities, or could even recommend some other communities out there once I understand the situation. Fair enough, right? Unfortunately, everybody else in leasing, and it makes me crazy because these owners and investors and management companies are paying hundreds of dollars for these leads. They're just going, what's your budget? 1,800.
Boom.
Oh,
Stop.
they're not maybe smoking. I don't have those. Right? Sorry. Bye. And I just keep thinking about my mom. Like, I keep thinking about my mom when we were trying to find a place to live. I wish somebody talked to my mother the way that I'm training people to talk to people.
Wow.
Because, you know, darn it, our prospects deserve this. Like, nobody shops for an apartment for fun. Nobody is like, I have nothing to do. It's Friday afternoon, you know, pitcher of margaritas. Let me just call some apartment communities, right? There's a reason
That's a
why.
blast.
Yeah, right. That drives me nuts. These leasing consultants will be like, oh, that person was wasting my time. No, they weren't. You just didn't take the time to learn about them, right?
Yeah.
You didn't take the time to provide some value. And I teach a system that's simple, it's short, it's easy, effective. And even if that prospect doesn't live with you, they'll end up giving you still a good review on saying, hey, they didn't have anything, but these guys, go talk to Gary, right?
Yeah.
They don't take rattlesnakes at that community, and I'm the rattlesnake guy. But if you don't have a rattlesnake, you need to go live at Garrett because this guy's the best guy ever, right?
I love it. I'm like processing all of these things. I feel like I'm getting just a whirlwind course, crash course in Leasing University, kind of a high level. But this is outstanding because it's more of your communication model is not just asking closed-end questions. It's asking these open-ended questions with a why context.
Exactly right. And I'm going to steal that from you. I'll send you a check for that one as well.
It's all yours, man.
Yeah. So here's the thing. It's about being, if I had to, and this is my first time they're coming out of my brain, but if I had to say it was one thing, it's being skillfully empathetic. Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
Because in the past, we were not skillful or empathetic.
Yeah.
Today, if you're just empathetic, that's not going to work either because the stakes are too high.
Yeah.
Right? I can't just be a nice person and care about you. I have to also skillfully move that lease forward. For example, like let's say I've shown you everything, Gary, right? I have to have a close. Here would be a good one for the viewers and listeners out there. You ready?
You're hearing this first.
I'm not even going to ask you to do anything, and you're not going to be able to reject me on leasing the apartment. You ready? Here's what I want them to say. Hey, Gary, does it make sense to sign the lease? Right? Does it make sense? If I ask you if something makes sense, am I asking you to do anything?
Right. Nope.
No. I'm asking you if you think it makes sense. I'm giving you all the power, right? Now, I want you to say yes. Hey, Gary, does it make sense to go sign the lease?
Yes.
Congratulations, you made a great decision. The next steps are bump, 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 bump. Notice I'm not saying, does it make sense to fill out the app, right? I'm asking for the thing I want. But now I want you, here's where the real magic happens. Now I want you to tell me no, okay?
Okay.
First, I'm gonna ask you, I'm gonna do the unskillful way. Hey, Gary, do you wanna lease the apartment?
No.
Why not?
Well,
what can I do to get your business? Right?
Yeah.
And now you're gonna start telling me why not.
Making up reasons.
That was an all or nothing request. Yes or no question. You rejected me. But if I simply pivot to does it make sense? Watch how much more skillful this is.
Okay.
Hey, Gary, does it make sense to go sign the lease?
No.
Got it. What's a good next step then?
Oh.
What's a good next step then? Right? Yeah. We see a 74% of the time they'll actually tell you what the next step is, right? And that next step is typically their hidden objection that they were afraid to tell you before.
Right.
I'm just not sure about being on the ground floor, or can we measure the closet again, right? Now, I want you to be as difficult as possible and just keep saying, I need to think about it. And I'm going to show you how a leasing consultant can clearly if you just do nothing else, you don't even have to pay the money for my course. If you just set a crystal clear next step with every person you'll talk to, you will lease 71% more apartments. You will almost double your leasing just by going through a pattern like this. Yeah. Just keep saying, I need to think about it. Ready? Okay. Hey, Gary, does it make sense to go sign the lease?
I need to think about it.
Got it. What's a good next step then?
Well, I need to think about it.
Cool. Yeah. What's a good next step for me?
Oh, well, I need to think about it.
Got it. Okay. So why don't we do this? So it's 1:21 on Friday. How about we do this? I will call you Monday, 9 a.m. if I haven't heard from you before then. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Boom. At the very least, and we're doing a micro course here. There's a lot of other things I could teach you with I need to think about it. But I'm just going to be honest. Okay. Yeah. I make plenty of money. We have thousands of people on the portal. If you can't afford the portal, I at least want you to know this. Just set that darn next step with everybody and then take a note and call Gary back, right? At 9:30 on Monday, when you said you would. Congratulations, you're automatically leasing almost twice as many apartments, right? Wow. Like, I want to help people, whether you're on Leasing University on the live events, I'm flying out to see you, we're doing Leasing Olympics, or you're on the portal, or we're coaching. That's great. I would love that. But there's a lot of people watching this that maybe can't afford it. It's not that much money. You're talking $300 for a person and way less for a group. But if you can't afford it, please just rewatch this 2 or 3 times. Little things. Like, for example, when you answer the phone, never say your name and never say, how can I help you? Because moving is the most stressful life event. Nobody's going to remember your name when you say it over the phone. And when you say, how can I help you? Okay. Where have we all heard that before? Everywhere. It's a reflexive statement. It's like, what's up? Or how you doing? Right? We say it unconsciously and people answer it unconsciously. I'm good. I'm just looking. No thanks. Right? It has no neurological impact. But if I just change it to this, right? Ring, ring, ring. I answer the phone. It's a great day at Somerville. What can I get you information on? What can I get you information on? Yes. Every single person that calls that community, whether it's an upset renter, a vendor looking for their payment, your boss wanting to know where their TPS report is, a prospect wanting to know what your 2-bedroom, every single person wants one thing: information. Information about where my check is, information about whose dog pooped in front of my door, right? Information. So just simply answer the phone. It's a great day at Somerville. What can I get you information on, right? Another great question to ask. What research have you done? I'm calling about your 2-bedrooms. Awesome. What research have you done on our community? Nobody asks that, Gary. And it's like, when I ask, what research have you done in our community? This is now giving that person an opportunity to say, like, let's say you've got a marathon you got to run. It's
26.2.
26.2, right? You could tell I'm not a runner. Do I want to run the whole 26.2 and win the race, or do I just want to step across the finish line? I'm a big cheater. I want to step across the finish line. So if I just ask, what research have you done on our community? I may need to run the whole race. I don't know anything about you guys. I just saw you on apartments.com, right? Yeah. Now I need to start from the beginning. But let's say I say this: what research have you done in our community? My friend Gigi, we call him Gary. You may have, a super fantastic guy. He lives there. I know his neighbor, Patty. She finally retired from property management. She's moving out. I want Patty's apartment. Hold on one second. Any chance Patty's in 308? Yeah, that's her. Yeah, she just put in her notice. I think I can have that ready. I've got to call my maintenance team, but I think we could have that ready by May 4th. Wow. Does it make sense for me to send over the agreement for you? And I know that sounds crazy to the listeners and viewers out there, but here's the thing: moving is stressful, moving is scary. Okay? People will answer the questions you ask them. And I'm going to repeat that because that's vital for them to understand. People will answer the questions that you ask them. So even though you want 308 and that was Patty's and it's next to G Money, your best friend, and you want that apartment, if I asked you, what's your budget? What are you going to tell me? What your budget is? Right. If I ask you what date do you, I'm still going to have to run the whole race. And if you've already made the decision, the whole race that I'm running, all I'm doing is giving myself the opportunity to talk myself and them out of wanting to live there, right?
Oh my gosh.
Simple. Keep it streamlined. Sorry. Wow. I go on and on.
Matt, this is beautiful. I can tell you are so passionate and inspired by helping others improve
their performance. To get a life.
No, this is a great life. I think
you and me, brother, we're in this life.
We're in this life.
And the folks on the other end of the screen and listening to this, they're in this life. We're a strange bunch, but darn it, don't we love it?
We love it, man. We love it. Absolutely. We're in this life together. So, hey, Matt, I love, guys, this has been a crash course in improving your performance. Matt, I want to give you a chance to share a closing thought. We're getting close to the end of our time. So what closing thought do you have for us?
A closing thought. No, a closing thought is, folks, okay? Your job is stressful enough as it is. You don't need to be making it harder on yourself. Also, we owe it to these people. I know they can be difficult, right? I know some of us, me more than others, pull our hair out sometimes. But we owe it to give them a better experience, okay? Fix your leasing process. If you're not going to come over to leasinguniversity.com, if you're not going to call us or have me coach you, okay? I'm not the only person in the world, and you can come up with some of this stuff on your own, right? It only took me 20 years to sit there and refine this stuff over and over again. But do something. Stop answering the phone saying, how can I help you, right? Stop just clicking away at your keyboard. Get a new process. Your life is going to be easier. You're going to love your job. People are going to love you. Your ownership is going to love you. The stakes are way too high now. If we treat somebody badly, they're going to go someplace else or worse. And by worse, what I mean is they're going to go leave a 1-star review that says we're the bedbugs and convicted felons come to battle it out for the UFC Heavyweight Championship. And your community's never going to be able to live that down, right?
Yeah.
Whether somebody rents from you or your competitor, you owe it to them. Those few minutes that they're engaged with you on the phone, on the tour, at your community, you need to treat them with a perfect process so we don't have to worry about them coming back and lighting us up on one of the review sites.
Guys, y'all heard it here first from Matt. Crash course, become a black belt ninja in leasing. Matt, look at this.
Black belt.
This guy's a black belt. He knows what he's saying. He just applied leasing to it.
Yes.
Matt, how can everybody get a hold of you?
leasinguniversity.com. Wherever I'm at in the world, call the offices. My people are in a hurry to help. They'll answer. It's a great day at Leasing University. What can I get you information on? Tell them you want to talk to me. They will find me. I will give you a call. You can find me on YouTube and everywhere else out there. TikTok, it's Easton University. But just go over to leasinguniversity.com. Give us a call. I'd love to talk to you. You can tell I need friends. I want friends. I'm looking for like-minded people to sit around and have great conversations like this. So don't be shy. Give us a call, 888-735-7451. I'll talk to you live.
You heard it here first, guys. Reach out, connect with Matt, improve your performance, become a black belt ninja. You guys, this is amazing. Thank you so much.
And have a super fantastic day on purpose, guys, on purpose.
Right. That's right. You owe it to the world to have a super fantastic day.
Yes, I love it. I hope I get to come back. I hope I wasn't too much of a spaz and I get to come back, Gigi. Invite me back, Gigi.
Man, you're going to be my first return guest. I promise you that.
I love it, Gigi.
Matt, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on, guys. Make sure you check out Matt Easton on everywhere, man. This guy's everywhere. He's amazing. He's super fantastic himself. Thank you for joining us on the Super Fantastic Exchange. We'll see you on the next episode. Thanks so much.
The way people rent apartments has changed. Today's renter has access to more information. Today's renter has more choices. The apartment industry needs you. Studies have shown that moving is the most stressful life event. The old sales training, well, it just doesn't work today. I'd like to teach you how to take the stress out of leasing apartments in a way that's meaningful to you and your renters and get you 7 times more leases. I'll show you how the perfect leasing process works. I'm gonna walk you through everything from answering the phone to closing the lease. I'm gonna show you how to determine your prospects' wants and their needs so that you can build value in your apartments. You will learn how to handle any objection or complaint. I'm gonna show you how to connect with your renter so it's easy for them to rent with you. I've taught the best property management companies and thousands of people just like you how to lease apartments. Property management is complicated. I'll simplify it for you. There's more competition than ever before. I'm gonna show you how to be number one. All of a sudden, your career, it's gonna make perfect sense. Even if you've never worked in sales or property management before. And for the advanced property manager, I'm gonna show you how to take things to the next level. Leasing University is a new, simple, step-by-step process that's effective. We're gonna help you become a rock star in property management. I'm Matt Easton, and this is Leasing University.